ofs. Because if it's in your pocket and it falls out, there should be prints on the bag. I don't know a lot of cocaine users, currently, but I will tell you that I was never worried with my bag of cocaine that my prints were on it because I was out of control in the first place. So, were they wearing rubber gloves or did they not dust for prints? If they did dust for prints, why haven't they looked for the rubber glove person that is on the videotape coming into the White House? Or why haven't they told us who the prints match? And I know you can do that in a couple of hours, probably an hour, but a couple of hours, especially if you're the Secret Service. Why don't we know that there were no prints or there were prints? Why don't we know that? We know exactly who was in those hallways at the time that we know it. We don't, you and I, but they do. So let me go through this. So we have the Secret Service, and they just can't find the person in the most secure building in the world, not by the kitchens, not by the dumpster, but in the most secure building in the world, in the most secure area of the most secure building in the world. And they say they have no idea. They just can't find it. But they also, the FBI, has now had how many years to find the person with a pipe bomb? They still don't know anything. And they don't know the chain of custody for the videotape because the videotape was edited. They don't even know how that happened. How did they possibly have the phone information corrupted on the cell phone? What an odd string of coincidence. Now, you'd think they'd be able to track these things down. You'd think that when they got grandma, because of the cell phone triangulation and all of the videotape that they have, they could get a grandmother in Nebraska and bust her ass within a couple of weeks. They still can't find the pipe bomb guy. They can't find the guy on the top of the scaffolding. That's really weird. But that's not all. They're not sure if there were even any undercover agents from the FBI. They're not sure? That's your testimony? If that is true, you should be fired for incompetence. But we know that's not true. How do they get away with it? Well, it's an ongoing investigation. But at some point, you need to say, you're really bad at these ongoing investigations because you've had an ongoing investigation on Hunter Biden for how many years? And you still don't know what everyone in the public knows.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha, Rakah Kodash, double honors to our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom. Wa Abababal Salakia. As you heard the video on Glenn Beck, all right, about the White House and their investigation on that bag of cocaine they found in one of the most protected areas in the White House, which is next to the Situation Room, which Glenn Beck in that video, he explains that he's been to that area where it's, they said they found the cocaine. They said he explains to you that the Secret Service is everywhere in there, right? You don't walk without seeing the Secret Service, as well as cameras. Cameras are everywhere. All right, so the White House is full of drug addicts, right? From the president on down to your secretaries, to the FBI, to the Secret Service, to the CIA, right? They're nothing but more than drug addicts. That's all that they are. They're drug addict child molesters, okay? And the Lord is gonna get done. He's gonna put away this devil, the so-called white man, and he's done with him. That's why all these things are happening, because it's the end of the so-called white man's age, the end of their so-called white supremacy. So they're being revealed as the devil, the red devil that they are. Isaiah 47 verse 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. The virgin daughter of Babylon is America. And the dust is chaos. That's what they're in. They're in chaos right now. That's why they're going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. They forsook their throne through wicked deeds and unrighteous decrees. O daughter of the Chaldeans, which the Chaldeans were the witches of Babylon, of ancient Babylon, but this is speaking about modern Babylon, the spiritual Babylon, Babylon the Great, America, which is full of witchcraft, which drugs, cocaine is witchcraft. All right, it's not in its natural state. Cocaine, you actually have a coca plant that grows coca leaf, which is natural, but cocaine is not natural. Which, once again, I recommend you go watch Kill the Messenger, which it was an American reporter that pretty much, through his investigation, found out that America's White House was the number one drug dealer in the world. All your drug cartels, whether it's in Mexico, China, they're all working for the government of America, which Biden is nothing more than a meat puppet, a rubber glove to the elite, all right? For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And that's what we see. America is no longer being called tender and delicate. It's a violent place. Other countries are saying, hey, I recommend you don't even go there because of the gun violence. All right? So it's no longer tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. So they're revealing their shame. Uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness, their shame, shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushai in his glory as a God, and he's going to meet Esau, and he's going to destroy Esau and his kingdom. And the ones that remain, because they're in bunkers in other parts of the world, they're going to be put in slavery under the Israelites. It says, as for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts, host means armies, is his name, the Holy One of Israel, which those armies are going to follow Yahushai. Revelation, and it's 19. It says in verse 10, verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, the so-called UFO, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. The reason he's going to have many crowns is because he's going to take the authority away from all these kings that are on the earth, from the president of America to the presidents of Russia to the president of China to the president of Africa, of any of those countries. He's going to take all authority away from these heathen, all right, especially with the elite, by putting them in slavery. But the low level, they're going to be put to death, all right? Pretty much they're going to be a depopulation of heathen, including Israelites, which are in bed with the heathen, the ones that do not fear the Lord, but in fact worship the so-called white man, which is going to be evident through their actions by them taking that implantable microchip, which the devil, the so-called white man, is going to make mandatory for buying and selling. They're going to be destroyed with the devil and his angels, which is their military, by fire. It says, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, because he's going to get a new reputation after he fulfills this destruction of Babylon. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh, which is Yahushai. Yahushai is the son of Yahweh, and Yahweh's word, the Bible, is prophetic, historical in some areas, prophetic, speaking of Yahushai's return. But he came one time, that's why there's historical, right, prophecies that have been fulfilled, like his first coming, him being crucified and resurrected. Now there's prophecies of him coming the second time and judging the world for their wicked deeds. It says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword. He's going to blast them with fire out of the so-called UFO. You can see that in that movie Independence Day, when that chariot, the so-called UFO, shot laser out of the middle of it and it destroyed the whole city. It says that with it he should smite the nations, the heathen, which are in bed with the so-called white man. All right? UN nations meet together in America. All right? Because they're in bed with the so-called white man. So the Lord's going to punish all these nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron in slavery. He's going to put them to rigorous slavery, all right, rigorous work, which they're going to get beat for 1,000 years. And he treadeth the winepress, which is America, of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh, which these hypocrites, these Edomites, the so-called Caucasians, they locked up Jake. A lot of times they were innocent that got locked up, but you had Jake that was caught with drugs like cocaine or crack or fentanyl, right? Which the so-called white man is controlling these drugs. He's the ruler of the world. He has the power to allow or to stop these things, all right? And in fact, like fentanyl was created in America, all right? They tell you it comes from China, but it was created through Edomites, so-called Caucasians, all right? German scientists that are under the so-called white man today of America, all right? So the Lord's going to punish these wicked, the devil, the so-called white men, all right, for their wicked deeds. And part of those wicked deeds is being a hypocritical nation. Once again, they locked up the Israelite, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian for life. Multiple life sentences for drug, right? Paraphernalia, drugs on them, right? But look at what happened with the so-called white man. They can't find the tape. They don't know who did it, right? Because the whole system is rigged to benefit the so-called white man and to destroy the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, which has been scattered throughout the world in slavery. America is a racist prison. That's what it is. It's not even a nation. It's a business of enslavement. That's why it's spiritual Egypt and also spiritual Sodom, because these devils, the wicked, the so-called white men, all right, they actually promote this homosexual vibration, right, through the system. And this is why America is known as Babylon, because of the banking system, the witchcraft, spiritual Egypt, slavery, and spiritual Sodom, because they promote homosexual activity. Look at the president, right? So America is Babylon the Great, who are to be destroyed, and it's going to be destroyed by fire. That's how you deal with a witch. All right, America is a whore, a witch, filled with witches, from the elite ruling class down through the president, through Congress, right? All your senators, all your congressmen and women, right? Even to your citizens are a bunch of witchcraft, drug addicts. Okay, so the Lord's going to destroy America. Like all these people that are on fucking drugs from their doctor, pharmaceuticals, pharmacy goes back to witchcraft. That's what pharmacy, the word for witchcraft in Greek is pharmacia, which is, or pharmakia, but it goes back to pharmacy. So you might say you need this medicine to stay alive, but you should have died. All right? You really shouldn't be taking no medicine that is given to you from the hospital. You really, if it's your time to go, you're supposed to go. You know, but what are everybody doing? Through the witchcraft, they're trying to prolong their life. They're trying to live an abominable life, right? Because death is a judgment that is put upon man, right? Especially the Israelite man, because we sinned. We sinned against our power, and that's why we're in slavery under this red devil, the witch, the wicked that ruled the world, the so-called white man. But because we repent, that's why there's fear that fell upon them, because they saw us standing upon our feet, calling upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with holy hands. Which what happens after that? Judgment. Judgment is coming for Babylon. For you so-called Caucasians, you're going to suffer a great judgment, including the other nations, which you have no salvation. There is no salvation for the Edomites or the other nations. Now, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, which salvation is for the Israelites, 2/3 reject the truth because of the lack of knowledge, because they've been destroyed in Babylon, right? Their conscience is seared with a hot iron. So they're going to be destroyed like a heathen with the heathen in the lake of fire, which America is going to be turned into a lake of fire after they make the implantable microchip mandatory worldwide for buying and selling, which is about to happen because of that CBDC, central bank digital currency, which the so-called white man rules the world through that central bank. And that digital currency is going to need a wallet, which the wallet is the implantable microchip, which is an abomination. And if any Israelite takes that, it's your condemnation to the lake of fire. You're going to suffer the nuclear destruction of America at the return of Yahushai and the glory of his Father, Yahweh. All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Ha Rakah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abab.